The Dish Network buys a full-page ad in the Kansas City Star this week to place an open letter to Kansas City residents to explain why it wants to buy the Metro's largest private employer, Sprint. The satellite TV provider based in suburban Denver has made a $25.5 billion offer for hometown Sprint, besting the $20 billion offer from SoftBank, the Japanese-based cell phone provider, which is supposed to be finalized this summer. The chairman of the Dish Network portrayed the rival bids as a battle between a Japanese company and an American entrepreneurial startup. But why should we care, and what does this mean?
Well, it's going to have a big impact. As you said, Sprint is a huge employer, and there are a lot of people out there that are quite shaky now. There have been layoffs in the past. The 4G network they were supposed to have didn't roll out on time, and there have been a series of missteps. And so, you know, one could look at it as this could be the savior of Sprint, or it could make things considerably worse.
There were some concerns, though, that this deal might mean that there would be jobs lost in Kansas City versus the SoftBank deal.
Right. SoftBank has promised to keep the infrastructure and the business model here, the offices in Kansas, in the Kansas City area. Dish Network hasn't made any such guarantee of that. They're headquartered out of Denver. They say that this deal, there could be cost cutting overruns that would be cut by about $11.6 million a year. So the possibility exists that some jobs would be cut. We could hope in Kansas City, in the area, that it might be cheaper operational costs than Denver. Maybe that would mean jobs would move here, but I don't think it's any guarantee. So there's serious concern that if Dish wins out on this, that we may lose a major employer here or a good number of jobs.
Yeah, in a classic buyout like that, Nick, that's how you pay for it. The acquiring company pays the costs by efficiencies that usually mean laying off people at the acquired company. That's just the classic way you do this. So there's that concern. The other concern you hear from people is Kansas City, for all of its pluses, does lack significant national corporate presence in the city of Kansas City. You've got H&R Block, Cerner, Garmin to a degree, Hallmark privately held. But we don't have great big corporate presence in Kansas City like Sprint, which is one of the great corporate establishments in the city of Kansas City or in the region. If they go away, if the name changes, if they take their name off the Sprint Center, that type of thing, there is concern that that important corporate presence here will go.